Morning everybody. Today is the 21st of June 2020 and I'm Will McDonald here in Adelaide, South Australia. I'm here to talk about paintball and paintball collections and that sort of thing. Now I know that I've got Amanda in the chat as usual. Thank you, Amanda. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And my parents usually try to be here in the chat as they always do, and I hope they find their way in because today in the United States is Father's Day. And I was going to give a shout out to my dad. Well, it might not actually be Father's Day yet. It's the evening before Father's Day. So in case my dad happens to be in the chat just yet, I thought I'd throw up a couple of photos of my dad. There he is lying on the floor with my son Hamish when he was probably about 6 weeks old, tiny little lad. And again, a few years later in their home in the United States, covered in snow. G'day, Rui. Good to have you here, buddy. Thanks for being here. So happy Father's Day to my dad over in the United States, and hopefully he gets this message. Just randomly, I wanted to include this image as well because I came across it a couple of days ago on Instagram. I don't know if there's any cricket fans, but that's Virat Kohli right there, who's the captain of the Indian test side. So he's out playing some paintball, which I thought was pretty cool. So I wanted to include that in there as well. Okay, so just quick note about some content. Right now, the Eskimo brothers and a whole bunch of other lads are out playing paintball out at Yarra, out in New South Wales, and Jonesy and the Eskimo brothers are doing a fair amount of like live streaming and chatting to people out there. So if you're starving for content, definitely start there. And I also realized that there's Pro Tour and Ultimate Shootout that's been going on that I'm not up to date on. I haven't watched that in a little while because of reasons. Now I see that I've already thrown to my next picture, which is this is a jersey that's going up for sale or trade, whatever, in the buy sell trade forums on Facebook. I've got a handful here because it's been a pretty busy week in there, and I just wanted to quickly whip through some of these. So this one stood out to me because this is a parabolic jersey. And that's a paintball company that's run by Griffin Spanner, and that's kind of a relatively common style, the shirt tie suit combo, like NRG and the Jokers have had that, but that is actually a copy of Conor McGregor's suit that he wore a few years ago. And those pinstripes have a very clear, distinct message for you if you had a closer look at them. But that came up, and I thought that was kind of cool to see. I know Griffin through Facebook, and he seems like a pretty reasonable man. So I know he does good work. A lot of what Parabolic does is a little bit of clothing, and from what I understand, a lot of custom barrels and that sort of thing. I also came across this Dynasty, I think it's a World Cup Asia kit, and I don't know how you feel about that. I've got some pretty strong feelings about that. Yeah, I guess you can get away with some hits, but anyway, it's different. Baltimore Trauma jersey, old school Baltimore Trauma jersey, a team that's not around anymore to my knowledge, but considered one of the top teams back in the day. And of course, Baltimore's kind of where I grew up. Came across that, and I wish I could get that. Being out in Australia, I don't often indulge because of the shipping costs and all that, but I'd love to have a Baltimore Trauma jersey. And this one was pretty cool when this one popped up because that is a Droogs jersey, a Frankfurt Droogs jersey. And it's a very distinct number on that jersey, -1, which is obviously Joe Burtis or Chop's jersey. And yeah, I don't even know. Shane Simpson, g'day buddy. Thanks for being here. I don't even know if the people selling that new Chops or whatever, because I saw it and immediately I was like, is that Chops? Again, I would jump on that jersey if I lived in the States, but I just don't know if I can bother with all the shipping costs and whatnot, but that's a pretty sweet find. Destiny, you know, B. Paxton, B. Young's team that she's established for many, many years, very successful divisional team. Anytime I see that, I daydream about getting it. That's a nice jersey. Two more, Nikki Cuba. Who doesn't want a Nikki Cuba jersey? Nikki Cuba Ironman. Such a champion of the sport. And lastly, there was an Oakland Assassins jersey up there, which is pretty timely because that's a Tyler Harmon jersey, an old school Tyler Harmon jersey, which if you're paying attention to Tyler Harmon and what he's been doing lately, he's got that podcast with Marcelo Margot, the Play the Game podcast, and recently he's interviewed Ronnie Dizon, who does some really, really good content creation. So anyway, that's what's going on in the marketplace. Quick shout out to what Scotty's been doing lately. So Scotty Martin's working on his podcast, Down Under Paintball, and his most recent episode was with Neil Martin. And I'm kind of ashamed to say I didn't know who Neil Martin was. You know, he sort of predated Scotty, and Scotty's a bit old school himself. But I know who he is now because I listened to this interview, and it was very engaging. You should check it out. I will just say that I personally have never been mistaken for a prostitute. That's just me, so you might want to listen in on that podcast to figure out what that's all about. But that was really cool, and so I reached out to him to see if he had any, because I try to like cross promote, and if I can reach out to Neil and get a picture of a jersey of his, then it gives me a segue to talk about Scotty and his work. And Neil's kind of disappointed and apologetic because he didn't have a jersey to share with me. He just asked if it would be okay if he shared the cover of Action Pursuit games of which he was on the cover. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'll accept a picture of you on an international paintball magazine. Oh well. Hey, I got my dad in the chat. I wonder if he saw my Happy Father's Day message. So anyway, check out Scotty's work. As always, he does really good work. Let me catch up with my notes here. Okay, so earlier in the week, I dropped this photo, which is a compilation of jerseys that a particular player wore. And I kind of put it out there to see if anybody was paying attention and if they could figure out who this might be. And in that, there's a USA jersey, Texas Phalanx, I see a Droogs jersey, there's a Syndicate jersey, a Sydney Syndicate jersey, and some people picked it up straight away. Others had a couple of good guesses, but yep, indeed, that is a collection of Jessi Miaolo. And I reached out to Jessi and just kind of asked her if she would be willing to send me some content, tell me about her jerseys and that sort of thing. And she did so, and she absolutely nailed it. So take a moment and check out what Jessi sent me here.
Hey William, it's Jessi Miaolo here. Thanks for having me, first of all. So I have a giant collection of jerseys here, and I don't even have all of them. I've got two that are actually being prepared for shipments right now as we speak. My USA one is actually put away in storage because I'm working on a project with that one. And then I have another one that is in my gear bag I used a couple weekends ago. So I'm just going to show you what I've got here, and I'm going to go over some of my favorite ones. Okay, so just going to go over these all briefly. This is just my Combine jersey, nothing special. Let's see here. My Frankfurt Droogs jerseys. Right here. This is a team I play for in Europe. They're amazing. I have another Frankfurt Droogs jersey. I love them so much. Second family over there. Let's see. I have my Dallas Diamonds jersey. Now this is my first jersey that I wore, my first all-female team, first team in Texas actually. So this is my Dallas Diamonds jersey, and I actually designed this logo. So that's pretty cool. I really like the colors in that one, and I typically don't like girly colors on my jersey. So that was kind of cool. I have my college jersey. I played for East Carolina University here in Greenville, North Carolina. We played NCPA, and so this is my jersey. As you can see, my number 7 has really pretty much stuck. It ended up changing to 77 later. My second team I played for in Texas was Texas Phalanx. This jersey I kept because it's actually kind of cool. I do like this jersey. The other two I actually sold. So there's that one. Let's see here. This is my other Texas Phalanx jersey. Now this is actually one of my favorite jerseys because I actually achieved a lot of things with this jersey. I reached a lot of accomplishments for females in the sport of paintball. Back then, when we was D5, I think we played D500, we ended up winning first place, so we got to play on the pro field for NXL. I think I was the first female to play on the pro field for NXL, first female to win on the pro field for NXL, and first female still to hold the best move of the event divisional award, I guess. So I have that. That was pretty cool. Great experience. Love this jersey. It means a lot. Let's see here. Another one of my favorite jerseys is my Sydney Syndicate jersey. So this is Sydney Syndicate, based out of Sydney, Australia. Now this is one of my favorite ones because I got to play in the pro division there twice already. Obviously this year I don't think anyone could because of COVID-19 and the travel restrictions. But I think I was told I was the first American female to play in the pro division there for Super Sevens, and so I think that was pretty cool. I love accomplishing new things, being the first female to open doors for others, so that's why that one's one of my favorites. Now I did say that I don't have my USA jersey here, so I'm just going to show you kind of what it looked like. This is my tech shirt. My USA jersey's put away right now, but this is kind of what it looked like. 77. This one meant a lot to me because not many females can say they played for their national team, for their country, and even won gold in another country. We actually went to Panama in 2018 and where we won gold, and so that's why that one means a lot to me. I thought that was really cool. And we had a lot of amazing players on that team. It was so much fun. This is a really old one. I don't know if you guys remember these jerseys. Planet Eclipse. Miaolo 7. The black kind of peeled off, but it was inlined with black. So that's my jersey from 2008, 2009, maybe 2010. Now, one of my other favorite jerseys is So Hideous, but this is important to me because it is my very first jersey ever. That's why this one's important. This is Team Anubis. The jersey's by Animal Paintball. It's still really dirty. This is from 2007, 2008. As you can see, that's why this one means a lot to me. It was my very first jersey. This is the one that got me into paintball, and that's why it's my favorite. So yeah, like I said, I've got a few other ones that are being mailed off as we speak, and then my USA one is actually currently put up, and my Revo 3 jersey, which is really colorful, which I really like, is in my gear bag. So hope you guys enjoyed my jersey collection so far, and I'll talk to you soon.
There we go. Jessi Miaolo. How awesome was that? Now before I continue on that note, I just want to shout out, so I got James Blackwell in the chat. Yep, James Blackwell, my buddy Easy's back in. I got 3 pop in here this morning, so thank you guys all for joining us. It does mean a lot to have you here. Okay, so Jessi, absolutely nailed that. What an awesome jersey collection. Just whipping through those things enthusiastically. And I saw 3 pop said that she's your favorite female player, and that's fair enough. I have a few myself, but the reason why I'm a fan of what Jessi does, and I haven't, spoken to her about this, we don't really know each other personally, but she's a champion, and although she does sort of, she takes pride in her efforts to kind of raise the perspective of women in the sport, and I haven't spoken to her about this. I imagine she prefers the thought of thinking of herself as a paintball player as opposed to a paintball girl, which is, I think is something that a lot of women in the sport have to contend with, just being like, oh, a paintball girl. No, she's a paintball player. She's a champion. She's a competitor. And she plays on co-ed teams, and she kills it. So I know that that must be especially challenging in a male-dominated sport, and I've got a lot of respect for that. And on that note, if you want to learn a little bit more about sort of the female perspective in paintball, Couple of things that you can check out. One, a couple of weeks ago, B Paxson did a podcast on frontline paintball. It was podcast 29 it was the 29th podcast. I've only seen a few of these, but she kind of goes into this, talking about the challenges of being a female in the sport and that perspective of like, oh, you should be on a girls team, or like, oh, you guys should all form a girls team, and how annoying that kind of is. So that's worth checking out. And there's a new podcast that I actually haven't checked out yet. It's called Paintball Without the Y. And I believe it's in association with Paintball Pinups of Texas, which I am familiar with some of their content, but I haven't listened to their podcast as of yet. Of course, Scotty Martin did an interview with Amanda Andrews a little while ago on the Down Under Paintball podcast. That was episode 13. And then, of course, Christy Stevens did an interview with me on Center 50, which you can check out on my YouTube, and she kind of talks about sort of the bothersome nature of some people's approach to female players. And Amanda, yes, that is a great collection from Jessi. Of course, it is missing her Baltimore Revo jersey, and she mentioned she was missing her USA jersey, but go Revo. Eat it easy. All right. Let me see, what else we got? All right, so now, before we go any further, I just want to set up a moment with Elmo. So I chatted to Elmo a little while ago, and I'm going to bring you just a little 5-minute episode of this. I will say that he and I got on such a groove that before I know it, we'd actually talked for 2 hours. And what I'll have for you here is just a very small snippet of that. And because of the nature of all the editing I had to do, I actually ended up having to cut out his Aftermath jersey, which he'd earned by playing in World Cup overseas, which is a huge bit of his collection that I ended up cutting out. We talked about Maddie Strachan and his relationship with Maddie. We talked about a lot of stuff, and the chronology of what I'm going to show you is not quite exactly right, because I wanted to save one of his jerseys for the last little bit as sort of a punchline. It's one of my favorite parts of this interview. So join me for a moment with Elmo.
But me, in saying that, all the jerseys behind me, like I said, all have meaning and all have significance. So this is one of the local teams that Mark Jeffries at my local paintball field, Hartley Valley Paintball, started, and it was Team Cole. He named it and everything. But the main thing about this jersey is this is actually the first jersey that I designed. So I did all the design work on it, and then we had it printed through Michael Wybury and Assassin. So okay, so everybody will go straight to this. Everybody recognises that.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to lie. I covet those jerseys. Those are pretty sweet.
So another jersey that I did the design on, we actually, I designed all the Eastside Raw jerseys for the last couple of years, and the guys on Eastside Raw are just like, yeah, just do whatever you want. Basically, I make little changes every year, and this year we went with obviously the envious green because of Carl and Ben and Jared and John coming to play with us.
Yep.
And series winners in that jersey. So I'll always remember that one. And yeah, being the Eastside Raw jersey, they're my brothers. So this is our Blade jersey. I still play for Team Blade. So many wins in this jersey, and I love the design. Trent's done a great job on this. I'm looking at that Elite One paintball, the nicest paintball park that I've ever played at in Australia. So,
right here.
And that's just basically because there's a beach 5 minutes away and the people are awesome. So the next one is a standard jersey that everybody's seen plenty of times. I love this jersey. I didn't actually do the design on this. Trent did the design on this many years ago, but it's our Raw Empire jersey. So as soon as I see this jersey, I just think, the amount of wins that we've had in it, the awesome people. Michael Worthing is one of the best team managers, captains, best one of the best people that I've ever met. He's a good person, that guy, and so are everybody else on the team. Even over the years that I've played with Royal Empire, because we played well that round, in the following World Cup Asia that happened that year, SDK decided that we all deserved one of these, and we all played as Team Australia.
So that was in Asia. You wore the Australian jersey, as opposed.
Yes, we wore this at. Some of us wore these in America World Cup, but these were actually made for the World Cup Asia.
Okay. I was thinking when you first got it out, I thought it might have been from 10-man, Sevens 10-man.
No. So this is actually proper Australian jersey. So
nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was another memorable moment where we got to play with SDK. We didn't do so great that round, but more memories and good times. And so, speaking about brothers for life, this jersey here was a jersey that I played 10-man in Victoria. It was a Monkeys event.
Yep.
So we've got the Monkeys logo up on the side there. Troy Dixie from Victoria, well-known guy in paintball. He had the idea to put together the team as, I think he was going to call it Dixie's Boys or something like that. And somebody came up. It may have been me. It may have been a collaboration. My memories, but we came up with this idea to call it Dixon Balls. And if you look, we've got the little Dixon Balls logo the whole way along the bottom of it.
Yeah, yep.
And believe it or not, that wording's made out of just hundreds of little dicks. Paintballers, what can I say?
So, paintballers, eh? Anyway, I did appreciate Elmo taking the time to share his jersey collection. Again, he had an Aftermath jersey that just didn't make the cut. We were just talking about so many other things. Every time he went to lift up the jersey, we'd start another conversation. The jersey would go back down. Let me see what I got here. So I got BB saying that Raw jersey is synonymous with the small Raw franchise. Eastside Raw is pro, and Red Raw and semi, awesome squads on both. Yeah, that is quite a franchise, and it's very, very recognizable, those jerseys as well. And a lot of sentiments about Elmo being just such a great guy. I personally have felt that he's been very generous to me. He sat with me for this sort of thing on more than one occasion, including a time where he did an interview with me at a Super Sevens a little while ago. If you want to see that, it's on my YouTube channel. All right, now I want to switch gears and I want to talk about the jersey I'm showing off today. I'm starting to get towards the end of my collection, which means I'm starting to show some of my own personal jerseys as opposed to like pro jerseys or whatever. But this one is without a doubt the most important jersey to me for a myriad of reasons. So I'll just start by setting it up. So this is my buddy James's jersey. We call him Spoon, and Spoon really innovated our team back in the States, the Rockin' Cocks team back in the States. Here's a picture of myself with Spoon when we met Greg Hastings, and we just thought we'd flip the script on him, and we made him a Rockin' Cocks jersey, and Spoon and I autographed it for him and gave it to him. I see Easy picking up on Spoon. So Spoon, like I said, he innovated a lot of stuff. He helped us go from just being, just a local team that played in the local events to seeking out sponsorships. You can see in this photo, he's got an Exalt logo on his gogs there. He created his own small agitated hopper to go along with his pump gun. He established a relationship with CCM. He just did so much to kind of take things to the next level. And he was a badass paintball guy as well. There he is right there in the middle. I don't remember that event. You'll notice I'm not in any of these events because most of these, or any of these pictures, most of this, I'd already moved to Australia at this point. But that's one of my favorite photos right there. And now I have I don't know if I have any other photos yet. So we're almost finished up here, but I want to show you this jersey, and then I'm going to show you a moment that I have on video of one of my favorite Spoon moments. So, there we got Spoon 77. Hey, 77, that's Jessi Miaolo's number. How about that? So there it is. Now, I had one of these jerseys. Obviously, this is my team, but I got this when Spoon and I swapped jerseys. So I actually don't have one of these with my name on it anymore. So I've got Spoon's. And, you know, this is absolutely one of the most badass jerseys that has ever lived. Spoon found somebody who did a drawing of this rooster. And so he kind of commissioned that and worked with Raza to develop it. I think because of my buddy Owen's fixations, we went with this paisley pattern, which has kind of been iconic for the team. So the black and red and white paisley is kind of our thing. Hurtin' feelings across the bottom. That was a phrase that I adapted from, that I stole from one of our players, Randy. So this is unquestionably the greatest jersey of all time. And with my buddy Spoon's name across the back, that's even better. Spoon's a champion in recent years. He and his family have been going through a lot, and it's a hard time for them, and I think of them often. But I do want to just flash back to a moment many years ago, years before we even had these jerseys, where Spoon was playing in a three-man pump team, the Rockin' Cocks three-man pump, in an open class tournament. And he had lost two of his players. It was 1v3. He shot somebody trying to run through on the Dorito side. He shot somebody else as they pushed up through the center, and it came down to just Spoon versus someone in the snake. So really quickly, I'm going to show you Spoon winning a 3v1, and the closing second of this is the greatest noises in the world. It's the greatest sound in the world. So check this out. Here's Spoon finishing up a 3v1. Sorry, one sec.
That's funny.
Woo! Oh God, I love it. How good is that? He, with a pump gun, takes out two guys, runs up and clips the last player on the hopper. You can hear that distinct noise, and then the eruption of the cheering is just so awesome. And that's something that, playing with the Rockin' Cocks, we got pretty frequently because we were always the underdogs. So to pull out wins usually elicited a fair amount of support from the crowd, which was really awesome. So again, this will be the greatest jersey I ever get. I will never give that one away, and it means a lot to me. It also means a lot to me that Jessi Miaolo sent me that generous content. It means a lot to me that Elmo took a couple of hours to sit down and just catch up with me, and it means a lot to me to have Easy and BB and Amanda and my folks, and 3Pop and Rui and everybody else in the chat. That's awesome. I do appreciate that. Now, just a reminder that tomorrow, 7:30 Adelaide time, whatever that works out to you, is PBHQ, and Dwayne is the guy who does all the hard work around here. So definitely drop into the chat and see what he's got to say. I'm sure he'll recap a little bit of maybe Pro Tour. Maybe talk a little bit about what's going on at Yara right now. And until next week, you guys stay safe, do the right thing, and look after each other. I'll see you next week.
Bye.